Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Wednesday night talk show with Patriot James. Sorry about running late and unorganized. We just got off the lawnmower, run through the shower, and headed up the hill. Hope everybody's having a blessed night tonight. I see a few people coming in here right now. My grandson Chase is in here. Lyle was first in line. Chase, the Bullock Experience, Mr. Kelly, Robbie Thompson, Richard Cluck. I hope everybody's doing great tonight. We're going to do a few things a little different tonight. One thing, we're going to talk about tools, and that's what I call everything that has anything to do with our fishing. There's Mr. Chad's in the house tonight. So Kelly had a birthday yesterday, so everybody wish that man a happy birthday as of yesterday. I'll be on his show next week, so tune in for that one. So we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights and endowed by their creator. Ooh, dadgum, y'all call me out. Duh, I'm brain dead tonight. Hey, Miss D. Let me start that over again. I'm a dumbtail. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They're endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Done. What's up, Mark? I screwed that one up royally. Call me a brain-dead dumbtail. Oh, tools. Y'all hear me call stuff tools all the time. And the reason I do is because I've been basically a maintenance man my whole life. I was born and raised by a father that was a head maintenance man at Wicks Filters. He taught me a lot about working on things. I was really mechanically inclined and not book inclined. That's why I struggle with technology. But with that being said, that's why I look at things as a tool. What's up, Jade? Larry King. And sometimes that really helps when it comes to fishing or any other stuff in life. I got a green outline around my head. But Mr. Justin Fishing Fetish, Mark Turner, they coming in here. They dragging around there. Jesse O'Neill. I tried to get Jesse. He was just on the water. And he said they raised the water on him and run him off the water. So he is out there fishing. We're going to get him in here live with us. There's Mr. Abbott, Nebraska Wildcats. But tools, everything really in life that you use to accomplish something becomes a tool. A cup is a tool to hold your coffee or water, Coke, drink, whatever you decide to drink. And if you look at things as such, then you're more apt to use them more adequately for the job that's ahead of you. That's including fishing. Whether you pick a rod, your reel, your line, your boat, bank fishing, your rod holders, rod stands, even to the chair that you sit in. To do the job, you want a chair that's comfortable. You're going to sit back and you're going to relax for a while if the action is slow. So everything becomes a tool. In order to catch, there's Hillbilly Moonshiners. There's J.R. Warshkow. What's up, my friend? There's Ray Kirkendall. I said that name without butchering it. Y'all give me a clap. I butcher a lot of names, and I do not mean to. So when you're working on a truck, a car, or on a sink in your house, you make sure that you have the right tool for the trade. Now, most homeowners don't have to buy the most expensive tools. They're not using them every day as far as like doing a job. So you can go with cheaper tools. And the same thing can happen with fishing. Just because you see people using Abu Garcias or some of the more, I ain't going to say the most expensive, the more expensive rod and reels, line, tackle, doesn't mean that you have to. And the reason I'm saying that is that I run Abu's simply because I got such a good deal on them, I couldn't turn them down. What's up, Joe? But if it wasn't for that, I couldn't afford them. I would not be able to go out and buy Abu's. I would be looking for an alternative. There's a lot of great alternatives out there. I see a lot of people using them. Caught 9 catfish on Facebook Live on a dock demon today. Holy crap, that'd been fun. Them little old freaking dock demons are wicked. But that's what I'm saying. And you can go buy a dock demon for like $12 at Walmart. So pick the tool that's going to work for you under the circumstances that you're going to use that tool. What's up, Glenn? My buddy Glenn, Carolina boy. If you're going out catfishing and you are going to chase the bigger cats or the bigger fish in whatever waters you're chasing, make sure that you do have something that is going to be adequate enough to get the fish in that you're chasing. What's up, Michael Marlowe? Marlowe. I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad. Justin. So there's a lot of rods, a lot of reels. Y'all see me, I use cheap rods. I finally got me some big cat fever rods. Bought them used, got a good deal, couldn't pass it up. The other rods that I use are the 10 footers that I'm going to actually put 6,000. I got 6,000s on them now. My 6,000s on them now, and they will be for bank fishing. Or if I'm really trolling and I need to spread the rods out, I'll use 2 of the 10 foots for the last ones where that'll reach them out a little bit further. PD fishing, Chrissy Brown. So the rods that y'all see me use so many times, catch so many fish on, are $20. I do not put in the time on the water that a lot of y'all do. Some of you put more, some of you put less. That means if you put in less, if you're a weekend angler, don't get to go that much, you do not have to spend a small fortune on a setup. What's up, Jay's Catfishing? Fishing Frustrations. There you go, 45 and 50 bucks. Look into daggum pawn shops, guys. I'm telling you, the stimulus checks are getting ready to run out, so you're going to be checking the pawn shops. You're going to start finding some good deals on stuff. A lot of people spent their checks and stuff getting fishing gear when they should have been paying bills and buying food for their families. So you don't necessarily have to buy what's up, Squirrel? A Craftsman wrench to fix one bolt that you might not ever fix again, when you can go to Harbor Freight, buy a set of tools that is going to work for you for a short period of time. But now, if you're twisting those wrenches every day, you do not want to go with cheap stuff. And that's the same way with rod and reels. But I do recommend that sorry about that. I still got grass clippings and everything else on my eyeballs and dirt. I do recommend that you do invest in good line. Simply because you have an opportunity, just like anybody else, to catch either your PB or even a late record, maybe even a world record. And no matter what tool that you have, make sure that you have good line on your reel. You don't want to break off a fish of a lifetime because you use cheap line. Most reels out there that's on the market today will catch at least one monster fish. You understand what I'm saying? Most tackle out there will catch at least one monster fish, maybe possibly even 2. But you want to make sure that you got the tackle, the live end of that tackle will deal with what you are catching. If you running a cheap reel, Zebco 808 comes with 20-pound line. Take that factory line off, throw it away, put you some good Andy or whatever line you choose to put on it, because that 808 will catch one monster fish, possibly two or more. I know the old ones will catch a lot more, but they don't hold much line. So that way you could actually go to a braid, go up with strength, down with size, and have a lot more line on there if you're not used to using bait casters or whatever, or don't use spinning reels. The spin cast is fine. It's a tool. What's up, Dale? Hooks is another tool. I stick with Gamakatsus. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people do like them. A lot of people have broke them. They are a very hard steel, country boy fishing. They are hard. But I don't set my drag real tight. What's up, Robbie Thompson? I don't set my drag real tight. And so when it gets closer to the boat, I will loosen up my drag a little bit more so that fish can make a hard run. Because I figured if you got it locked down tight, that's when you're going to break a hook. When you got that drag locked down tight, something's got to give. Your drag's got to play. Your rod's got to bend. Your line's going to stretch unless you're using braid. And most of the people, not all of them, that use braid is the ones that I've been hearing about breaking hooks. Not all of them. You got a 100-pound braid and you got your drag locked down and that fish takes a hard lunge, something's got to give. Something's got to give. What's up, 1 ton? So if anybody's got any questions, tackling cat, only hook I use. Yeah, JR, you can give me some of the tackling cats. I haven't tied them on yet, but they definitely in my toolbox. So you notice, guys, that I don't call mine a tackle box. I call it a toolbox. And that's the reason, is it goes down to your swivels. It goes to your line. You daggum leaders, tying your leaders up. I know a lot of people tie up leaders ahead of the trip. I don't, simply because I carry extra spools in my tackle pack and I can about tie up a leader as fast as I can pull it out of something and untangle it. I tie simple knots, the uni knot. But what tools do you find? A coffee can for a toolbox. There you go. Whatever works for you guys and gals, but find something that will get the job done for what you're using it for. I honestly believe that with today's technology, just about anything on the market will catch one big fish. Now, will you have your hands full? I believe so. Just like the cheap rods that I use. Now, I use good reels and I use good line. I use Andy line. But I use the cheaper rods. I've never broke one. I never had the centers come out of the eyes. Not to say that they won't. They probably will. But I never broke a rod. And I've had a rod hung up and had a fish on, and that rod get pulled all the way around and wrapped around one of my poles on my bimini top. I thought, there's a $20 rod that's busted. What's up, Georgia fisherman? I just knew that rod was busted. And it finally popped loose by the time I got that flathead in. And I thought, that rod's busted. I still use that rod today. It never did break it or nothing. Oh, I'm not, Kelly. I'm not. We're just talking a little bit about some tools. Mr. Richard Clutt. You got a set of my floats too, guys and gals. And that's a tool. Floats are a tool. Whether you use my floats, the Flores floats, or the Whisker Seeker floats, or whether you don't use floats. Everything really should be looked at as a tool. And when you start doing that, it will change the way you fish. It will change the way that you start using some of those devices, whether it's your reel or whether it's the rig. The way I look at it, a Carolina rig is a tool. A Santee rig is a tool. A Kentucky rig is a tool. You're using it for specific reasons. What's up, fishing chick? Good to see you in here. We got 36 people in here. Let's hit the thumbs up, guys, and share this out if you don't mind. We're going to try to go over a few things, and hopefully we can help you out. It's been a busy week, and so I didn't have anybody scheduled. We had 2 good shows prior with James Dockery and Mr. Lyle Stokes. Stepped on a few toes, had some great conversations, brought up a lot of great things that I felt and Lyle and James felt that needed to be talked about. So show me in chat, what is you think that is the most reliable tool in your tackle box? Whether it's rod, reel, line, something that you know that you can depend on when you go fishing. Because I look at it this way, when I go fishing, the one thing that I'd never leave home without, besides that, is that. Never leave home without my knife. What's up, Chase? My grandson's hanging out with us tonight, guys and gals. Mr. Chase. So that's the tool. It's a screwdriver. It's a fingernail cleaner. It's a line cutter. It's a limb cutter. It's a rope cutter. If you're out fishing rivers and you get in trouble in that heavy current and you can't get your anchor loose, pop a knife, cut that rope, and get the heck out of danger. Best tool she takes fishing is me. Well, yeah, she needs somebody to do all the labor so she can reel the fish in. That's all she has to do. You got to treat her like a queen. You know, that's the way I look at it. Safety first should be always on your mind. Cherry Lane, what's going on, my friend? So share it up. We get 50 people tonight. I give a set of floats away. We'll give a set of orange ones away tonight. Oh, there you go. You are a tool, Chad. Oh, best tool, Navionics, Glenn says. There you go. For anybody, and that don't go for just boat fishermen, guys and gals. Navionics can come into play for bank fishermen. I would have never knew, if I didn't have a boat and electronics, I would have never knew what was exactly around one of my favorite places to fish, whether it's in a boat or whether it's from a bank. Navionics can tell you so much of what's right out there in front of you. You might be throwing past a daggum hole full of fish, and you would have never knew about that hole if it wasn't for Navionics. I have found so many things using Navionics that actually I never knew. I drove right by them on the boat on my home waters that I fished for probably over 40 years. Because most of the places I'm gone right past it, never even taken a look to see what was there. But Navionics, you can set it home. And guys and gals, let me tell you, Navionics on your mobile device can be actually more accurate than the chip that you put in your depth finder. Now, I don't know about the brand new depth finders, that the chip might be a lot more accurate on them now than what they used to be. But the mobile app can show you so much, and it relies on your GPS through your phone, which is pretty freaking accurate, guys, to feet. I'm talking about down to feet. If you got that on your phone, whether you bank fishing or whether you're boat fishing, that rascal right there can save your day. It can find you, it can put you right over top of channel edges, where the one on your device, you might be too far to the left, too far to the right. This right here is pretty freaking close. And bank fishing, guys, I was throwing hard off that one bank I was talking about. I knew the channel was out there because I had fished it before, and I was trying to get into the channel. I was throwing past fish, way past fish. 2 years ago, January, I caught that 35 off the bank, and it was in about 4 foot of water, about 15 foot right out in front of me. All my other rods was way past that. I was headed for the channel. It was cold water. I was going for deep water. You're exactly right, Creole. Thank you for coming in, my friend. They rely on so much to crisscross your signal, it gets in there real close. Oh, Popo Ed, is it lying to you? Is it on your phone or is it in your electronics? Because a lot of guys, let me back up. Your Navionics is set up. If it's reading the river, if it's saying that the river channel is 35 foot deep, but your electronics are showing that it ain't but 28 foot deep, your electronics is seeing the top of the silt and what's there now. Your Navionics was set up basically from the lake maps. It's telling you what the actual river bottom in that river channel actually was when the lake was created. It does not calculate silt. It does not calculate how much stuff is filled in. That's where your electronics, and it does this. Message on tomorrow, Papa Ed, and see, there might be something that you need to adjust using the mobile device. I don't know. I know on my old electronics, Navionics, it was way off. I hadn't even got to with a sandy bottom. I hadn't even get to the bridges yet, and it was showing me that I was going under the bridges. But that's why I use my mobile phone for that. But now I bought the one from Jeff, and I use that HDS 5 for my Navionics. It is a lot closer. The other one was actually a newer unit. It was that Lowrance Elite. That son gun was way off. The GPS was way off on it. But, you don't know. It's one of them units that you have to download an update all the time on them. And so when we sell Donna's boat, it'll go with it. They can have it. So I got that HDS 8, which is another tool, guys. Somebody got a question. I think I missed a question. It's the first time you used it, and it's doing this. What's up, SoGo? Yeah, it's and Navionics, I think me and Lyle talked about it a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, can actually save your life. you running in new waters that you've never fished before, rivers, lakes, or whatever, and there might be shallows, there might be rocky outcrops, there might be a stump field, there might be all kind of daggum wing dike that if the water's up, that you would never see that wing dike, and if you don't know it's there, and Navionics will show you a lot of that stuff. So pay attention, guys. It can be used to your advantage. I've always looked for closed places that feed the river channel cuts in real close to the bank. And if that's places that I can easily access from the bank, then that's one of the places I'll set up the bank fish. I still love the bank fish, guys. I don't care if I do got a boat. I still love the bank fish. It's aggravating carrying rods and reels and tackle and drinks and all that other stuff. So I usually go hungry. I don't carry a lot of stuff out there because usually it's a good little walk. But the place that I chose, that I still, in fact, that's where I caught my biggest blue and flathead from. No, not my flathead, my biggest blue was off that bank. And the river channel cuts about, I guess, about 30 foot close to the bank. And luckily, you don't have a lot of overhead, so you can't really crank down and throw it real hard. If you could, you would probably throw over the river channel and be landing on a flat, which wouldn't be bad either, because you'd probably be landing right at the top of that river channel. But it's got laydowns, it's got stump fields, it's just everything is right there. And actually, there's a rock pile that you could hit. Now, you don't want to throw on top of that rock pile because I promise you, you will lose your stuff. But without Navionics, which is a tool, you would never find those things. The only other way, I give you a little hint, guys, of something, and how I learned that area before Navionics ever come out was when I was a bass fisherman. And y'all can do this yourself if you don't have real good electronics like side scan, or if you do a lot of bank fishing and you really want to know what's there, go buy you rod and reel for bass fishing. Buy you a set of worm hooks and bullet weights and rubber worms, and start bass fishing those areas. After you get your rod and reels out, and don't really care if you catch a bass. If you understand what I'm saying, throw this out as far as you can and be a line filler. Don't use braid, use monofilament. You can use braid, but if you use braid, don't be a line filler, because there's a scar all the way around that finger slammed to the bone that come from spotted wire many, 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 many years ago. Thank you, frustrations. But I was a line filler. But if you start bass fishing those areas that you're catfishing, and you learn to feel when you're pulling it in, close your eyes. Pay attention what your hands are feeling. You will learn to feel coming across muscle beds. You will learn to feel that. Coming across stumps, you will feel that. Coming across muck, slimy, muddy, nasty junk, you will feel it. If you come across rocks, shale, you will learn to feel these things. Map it, mentally map it. If nothing else, write it down on a piece of paper, or take a picture. Stop when you find a stump out there. Stop it. Pull your phone out, take a picture. Make your mental note on that picture. If you find a brush pile, running a Texas rig rubber worm, if you slow down, you can work that worm right through that brush pile. Now, I'm telling you, tie you on some big 10-inch rubber worms, and you're going to catch some catfish while you're doing this. I promise you. You're going to get surprise, surprise, surprise. That's a tool, guys. Bass fishing, just because we cat fishermen, we can use tricks from other type fishing to get us a long ways. It would amaze you some of the techniques that we use now. Crappie fishermen used them for years. Uh, watch other videos that don't really pertain to catfishing. As much as I hate to say this, people, these guys that bowfish, now there's some guys out there that eat everything that they take. They struggle to get what fish they get, but they abide by the law that is on the books. What's up, Paula Smith? So I will not knock any man that is abiding by the law. He don't waste his catch. He's doing what he needs to feed his family. With that being said, one that I talked to 3 weeks ago, because I made a post because somebody had sent me some pictures and told me it was on Lake Wiley. It was not. I did not do my homework. I will take ownership of that. What's up, Richard? I will take ownership of it. I should have never posted that pictures until I done my homework. It was not on Lake Wiley. It was actually on Santee Cooper. And they use an airboat and are fishing in areas that we as catfishermen, unless we got boats like that, cannot get to. Water so shallow, just to get in there, you need an airboat to push through. But he's getting some big cats. And he told me that he won't shoot nothing over 20, 25, 30 pounds. And I said, man, it's your fish. It's legal for you to take. He said, look, we got to abide by the two fish rule too, just like y'all do. So at first it was heated when we first started talking, but everything calmed down. He understood where I was coming from. I understood where he was coming from. And I'm actually going to bring him on the show one night, because I think that we can learn a lot from other type people, maybe not even having nothing to do with fishing, simply because they are there. They are exposing you to things that we never even thought about. I would have never thought about. Now, I love shallow water. I'll catch fish in 1 foot of water in a heartbeat. I'll throw baits up against the freaking bank because I know they run there. Are they going to be there year round? No, they're not going to be there year round. That's part of learning the species that you chase. And not just that, learning the bait fish that they are feeding on. Become a pro at catching brim. Become a pro at catching perch. Become a pro at catching any skipjack. Learn that fish. The more you learn that fish, the more you learn about the fish that's eating that fish. It's a tool. Knowledge is a tool. It's a great tool. I would have never guessed 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I've caught fish shallow many years ago using nothing but a hook and a swivel and a leader, free lining. I've done that for years chasing catfish. And I caught a lot of catfish up shallow. What's up, Rod Hall? Mr. Owensby, thank you for coming in, my friend. He's going to be on one of my shows one night. I'm going to get him on there. Actually, going to get him right here. He's going to come over here and hang out with us in the cabin. Next week, we got a guy that's going to be on there. He don't do YouTube. He does do Facebook. And for those that come to my tournament, he was the one that had our veteran friend to come fish with us. and it'll be Eddie Scaff. He'll be on next week's show. But I missed something. Having Shane come in here throwed me off. Oh, chasing catfish in shallow water. So 3 years ago, I would have never thought about catching trophy fish in that shallow water. Now, that being said, I really look more to doing it, not because it's something I've learned from other catfishermen, which Justin Wampuscat is a big reason that I love chasing them up super shallow. But this guy, now he chases them in rod and reels back there too. Yeah, all commercial fishermen aren't bad too, Paula. I agree 100%, and I'll go over that in just a second, so remind me in a minute. He has gained knowledge to feed him and his family by running up there in that shallow water, whether he was bow fishing or whether he was rod and reel fishing. Shane, my friend, I'm good. It's good to see you in here anytime, my friend. Anytime. Thank you for coming in. And guys, guess what, Shane? Look here. Rod Hog. I got my Rod Hog hat on tonight, and you come into the show. So check out their merch, guys and gals. They got some great, great merchandise. Shane will fish that shallow water too, boys and girls. I ain't gonna give away his stuff because we're gonna get him on here. But I learned that from a bow fisherman. If I could figure out a way to get up in some of those super shallow, some of the places that I had done marked off that I would never fish, I'm going to pay a little bit closer attention to my navionics, and I'm going to look more into those out-of-the-way places that I know fishermen ain't going because they can't get there to it. So tools, guys and gals. Now let's jump on here right quick with what Paula was talking about, and we'll go on because tonight I wasn't going to get on a rant. They are commercial fishermen that are abusing the system. But when I say abusing the system, if the system allows them to get away with it, people's going to get away with it. If the law is slack, then people, and they don't get held accountable, people's going to take advantage of it. They have for thousands of years, and they always will. You don't catfish at the moment. Well, fishing frustrations, you're welcome to come in here and talk with us about fishing because, my friend, just because you're not chasing cats right now doesn't mean that there's nothing that we can't learn. There's something that we can learn from you because we can. I don't know what fish you chase. If you're a brim fisherman, a crappie fisherman, or whatever, largemouth bass fisherman, luckily in North Carolina, I can use game fish for bait. Now, I will not use a game fish that I know is going to be trophy or is a trophy. I will not use crappie that are fillet size to put in my belly for food, but I do use game fish for bait. So in order to do that, I need to know how to catch those game fish. Largemouth bass, y'all all know that is spotted bass are one of my favorite baits. Thank you for coming in here, Twisted Fishing TV. That man right there made the Patriot Catfishers logo for me, and hands down, he nailed it. He nailed it. And he's done a lot of other people's logos, so I'm indebted to that man big time. He had exactly what I was looking for. But back to commercial fishing and other stuff. Where legal, guys, if we disagree with it And I'm not going to get on the pay late thing. That's for another show. It's legal. We got to find a way to either curb it, stop them, or figure out a way that we can come to an even medium where the big fish are not being raped out of our waters. And the same way with commercial fishing. Commercial fishing, if done right, can actually help the population of fish. Use copper wire right now. I hear you. It can actually, you've heard me and Lyle talk about selective harvesting. Selective harvesting is not just used in the fishing world. It's actually used in logging world, where they go in, selective harvest certain trees out of a forest, and that forest will actually start thriving instead of choking itself out. And when fish, you get so many fish, say in a small farm pond where, say many years ago, you throwed in some channel cats, you throwed in some crappie, you throwed in this, you throwed in that. You're right, Twisted. But that lake can overpopulate to a point where all the growth of each fish will start being stunted. And when there's not much structure to keep those fish alive, then good luck with that, Ken and Paula. That's going to be tough. Some states has done it. A lot of states that actually people make a living off of, it's going to be tough. I wish you all the luck in the world. If there's anything I can do on my side, just let me know. State of North Carolina, they don't really give two craps. At least Dieter and them did get some regulations done here where you can only have one fish over 34 inches per day per person. So that's the blue catfish. So that was a big plus for us here in North Carolina. And South Carolina, they was one fish. Now they went to two fish over 32 per person per day. But you can only have a number of catfish total. It's like 25, I think. I can't remember exactly what it was. So reach out to these people, knock on doors, shake hands, and do what you can do. Same thing with pay lakes. The only thing, if you cuss them and you fight against them, that means they're going to fight you that much harder. How'd I get off the tools? Back to tools. We ain't got but 32 people, guys. What is going on with my show? I believe people be hating on James. I used to have 80 people in here in chat. Got me questioning what I'm doing. I must be boring y'all guys. Yes. Anyway, back to tools. Learning to use your tool. Let's say a float. I just learned some new tricks with the float 2 days ago from a guy. And he's not a YouTuber. He's not a Facebook person. He don't do social media. Somebody else bought him the floats. And it don't matter what kind of float you use. I used them pencil floats for many a year and took a piece of electrical tape and taped a glow stick to it when we used it at night. It don't really matter. Whatever works for you. There's 4 other lives going on right now. Avid. What's up, Vanessa Kitty? Who else is live? Catfish is live. 1 ton. Is 1 ton live? Oh, you was live an hour ago. He's in here. But anyway. Throw me off. Anyway, he taught me 2 different more techniques to use with floats. Now I'm up to 8. That would be 9. 9 different ways of using a float. Carolina catfish. Appreciate you coming in, guys. So when you start thinking about things that you use on your fishing trip as a tool, how many times have you used a pair of channel locks to loosen a bolt when you should have been using a wrench? What's up, Palmetto? Yeah, 9 different ways of using floats. But so I've used them. I got a pair of channel locks that the end of it's ground down. It's for a screwdriver. And I've used that tool for so many different things. I've used it as a pipe wrench. Think about what you're using, and you might figure out a better way of doing things with the same tool you've been using for something else. Because that's the way the demon dragons come about. Everybody been using the Santee rig for many years with just the floats. And bass fishermen been using the Czar spooks as a topwater plug for many a year. And now the two has come together and people catch catfish using that tool. Czar spooks was one of my favorite baits. And if any of you still do a little bass fishing, if you'll get a Zebco, one of the older Zebco 33s, and if you could figure out another reel that uses that same gear ratio as the 33, that is the perfect gear ratio to work a Czar spook. I can work that Czar spook and make it walk circles around a stump. It's amazing. It's a tool. It's a tool. And I've caught channel cats on topwater Czar spooks before. You're exactly right, Paula. No, never have. Palmetto. I hadn't tried it. I've got a couple of my other bait rods and stuff that I do use braid, and actually my bass rod has got braid on it. I should have known better because I'm a worm fisherman, but anyway. And so I run Andy on my other rods and reels. I like Andy, but I'm not scared to try something else. You can cut bait on anything, catch a cat. You're right. Now, Twisted, I honestly think that there's seasons when certain baits work better than other times. It's high vis mono, but it seems thin. I'm worried about it. So you talking about high vis Andy Monster? I use the Andy Monster, guys. So I hadn't really paid no attention to that high vis is actually thinner or whatever. I know I trust the name of Andy, and it's one of those lines that it says 30 pounds, you can count on it breaking right at 30 pounds. But who has 30 pounds of drag on their reels? My reels don't. If you got 30 pound of drag on your reels, boy, viscous. Yeah, they look cool. I like black. That's a little secret I'll give out tonight, but we'll discuss it more on the show. There's Team Camo's in the house. Sorry, I about missed you coming through here. Ernie Brown. I like black. All my demon dragons, all my floats that I throw, every one of them are painted black. Reason being, and I ain't gonna elaborate too much because I'll save it for Kelly's show next Tuesday night. Reason being, all the water I fish is dingy. Black cast a shadow. Think about it. Black casts a shadow better than any other color. And where catfish are feeding, most of the time they're not going to see too much. So I'll let y'all think on that. And next Tuesday on Kelly Bullock's show, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I love it. Anything everybody already said? Yep. Demon Dragons makes a much higher quality float than the standard foam. Yeah, I've had catfish tear stone and foam bobbers all to pieces. Berkeley big game for leader line. Now I still use the Berkeley for my leader line, the big game for my leader line. But it seems like the Berkeley big game has started getting real bad as far as the memory. It's always had memory, but it's just seemed like here lately the Berkeley line gets real bad. No, Richard. Andy does not have a lot of memory, and the line will fool you. It feels like it's kind of stiff. When I first changed over to Andy, I thought, I don't know how this line's going to cast. Son, that line casts like silk. And it don't have a lot of stretch. And another little secret, guys and gals, to help with the memory part of it, if you pour some hot water over your spool line and then take it out there and cast it as far as you can cast it with a big sinker into that cool water and let it cool down like that, that will help take out a lot of that memory for a day or two. Once it gets back on that spool, it's going to build memory again, but that will help you for the night of fishing or the day of fishing. Oh, guys and gals, I just try to help you with some little information that I've learned over the years, whether I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong and y'all find out that I've told you wrong, please, please, please send me a message and let me know. Say, hey, James, what you said the other night on the show, this is what we found out. Please let me know. Mr. Bone Collector sending me some messages. Yes. And I like that slime line. That slime line it'll cast a country mile. I'm scared of the stretch. That line has got so much stretch in it, it scares me. I'm not saying that I'm like kind of like Dieter on that. I think once that line stretches, if it don't come back almost 100%, I feel that it leaves a weak spot in your line. That worries me. Anything that stretches and does not come back, then you have a chance of a weak spot showing up. And with any little nick in that weak spot, frustration, I ain't talking about scalding water. I'm talking about good hot water, not scalding. If it'll burn your fingers, it's too hot. I've done this for many a year of frustrations, and I don't have a problem with line breakage. Yeah, I ain't talking about pouring boiling water over your lines. Because I promise you, it ain't gonna be no hotter than that rascal sitting out in the sun getting on it. So tools, guys and gals. It's all I'm trying to do is help show you and help you think. That's my whole thing, is thinking. Suffix. I haven't tried suffix yet. Suffix is a good line. The string line works great for mono. It's tough. Catmandu, I use strand for years before Andy, and I liked it over trilene back then, because back in the day, Strand had a lot less memory than the trilene did. I loved Strand back then. And when I got back into catfishing, that was some of the first line that I bought was Strand, and I was not happy with it. Now, 4 or 5 years later, and maybe it got better, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I really don't know. But back to what I said when the show first started, and we got 4 more minutes and Country Boy will be coming on, so don't forget to go check out Country Boy Fishing. Back to what I said. If you get to fish 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year, Strand, use it. Use it. You could actually use the Walmart brand of fishing line. Just realize that it might not break where it says it's going to break. But will you catch fish with it? Sure you will. You sure will. And you'll have fun doing it. Guys and gals, that's what fishing really means. It's fun. Fun for you, fun for me, fun for everybody. Get out, have fun, share the love, share the bait, enjoy yourselves. And guys and gals, that's about it. I hate we didn't get 50. Appreciate you watching, Catmandu. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all the reason I come in and do these shows every Wednesday night. That's the reason that I wanted to jump on board with Lyle and be part of Catfish Weekly, is that I want to try to bring y'all the best information that I can find that might help you out. Y'all can catch so many fish and make so many memories with family, friends, and with yourself. Sometimes men just need to get out and take a rest. Rest your brain, rest your body, get away from everything, and open up our heart and open up our mind. And a lot of times, those times when you're by yourself, alone on the water, you really start hearing what the good Lord might be telling you. He might be saying all this time, hey, James, hey, James, hey, James. And if we're real busy doing this, doing that, running here, running there, just getting caught up in life, sometimes our heart's ears don't hear what we really need to be hearing. So sometimes, guys and gals, take a day, take a walk in the woods, and just open your heart, open your mind, and let the good Lord bless you. Because He will. God bless each and every one of you. God bless America. Don't forget to thank these guys and gals that's behind me, our veterans, our police, our paramedics, and our fire. They're stepping out on the front lines, and even our truck drivers. Everybody's got a job to do. Get out and do it. God bless. Y'all have a great night. Don't forget to go check out Country Boy Fishing. And we'll have Eddie Scaff on the show next Wednesday night. God bless each and every one of you. Good night.